Breaking news tonight shakes the royal world to its core. This isn't just another tabloid rumor or petty palace feud. This is being called one of the biggest betrayals in royal scandal history. Meghan Markle could be staring down serious federal racketeering charges with possible prison time of up to 25 years. And here's the real shocker. It's her own mother, Doria Ragland, who's flipped. Reports reveal Doria made a secret deal with federal prosecutors, handing over sworn testimony in exchange for full immunity. She allegedly confessed to being part of an $8 million money laundering operation. The goal? To disguise stolen funds from the RICO Foundation by pushing them through a maze of shell companies, all allegedly tied to Meghan, to make the money look clean while hiding the charity fraud from investigators. Court papers obtained exclusively by investigative sources confirm that Doria appeared before a federal grand jury on February 8, 2025. She reportedly testified for over 6 hours, describing in detail how Meghan allegedly pulled her in to help move dirty money through fake consulting gigs, offshore accounts, and front companies that were nothing but smoke and mirrors. Those fake setups allegedly turned stolen charity funds into legit cash used for luxury shopping, home upgrades, and high-end investments. A massive 127-page immunity deal reportedly binds Doria to fully cooperate with federal prosecutors. That means she has to testify against her own daughter and reveal every financial crime she witnessed during the 4 years she allegedly helped Meghan cover up the real source of their California lifestyle. This is family drama at a level no one saw coming. Betrayal, money, and the fall of a royal image all tangled in one explosive case. Tonight's revelations are nothing short of explosive. We're diving deep into what Doria Ragland told federal prosecutors about her daughter Meghan's alleged criminal network and the shocking reason she decided to turn on her own child to escape decades behind bars. The details expose how greed, power, and corruption tore apart their mother-daughter bond, and why legal analysts are saying Doria's testimony could hand prosecutors the final weapon they need to charge Meghan under federal racketeering laws, charges that could carry a potential life sentence. Think about that for a second. When your own mother chooses immunity over loyalty, it's not just crime anymore. It's a full-blown criminal empire collapsing from the inside. The kind of betrayal that no royal scandal has ever reached before. What's coming next is shocking. Federal crimes, hidden money trails, and evidence so explosive that it could wipe out the last traces of public sympathy Meghan Markle still had. And the wildest part, the key witness who might seal her fate is the one person she trusted most, her mother. This isn't just betrayal, it's the ultimate downfall of trust, power, and fame colliding in real time. Now let's dig into how Doria Ragland became a federal witness against her own daughter, because this isn't just a story about criminal charges, it's about how Meghan's alleged operation dragged even her closest family into the shadows, until the truth tore everything apart. Federal court documents and insider sources have revealed how Doria Ragland first landed on the radar of investigators, and it all started in September 2024. Forensic accountants digging into suspicious money trails linked to the RICO Foundation reportedly discovered that Meghan's mother had quietly received more than $1.8 million between March 2021 and October 2024. The money was disguised as consulting fees for so-called humanitarian and community projects, but investigators quickly realized something didn't add up. The FBI's Financial Crimes Unit uncovered a shady pattern. Massive donor funds would pour into RICO Foundation accounts, and just days later, large chunks of that money would be funneled straight to Doria through a maze of shell companies. These entities looked like businesses on paper, but according to investigators, existed only to clean dirty money and make it look legitimate. Each transfer raised more questions about what was really going on behind the scenes. When the first round of federal subpoenas demanded Doria's bank records and testimony, her legal team reportedly fought back hard, claiming attorney-client privilege and refusing to cooperate. That resistance hinted that Doria knew the stakes and understood her connection to Meghan's financial dealings could expose serious crimes. It was clear she'd been warned by lawyers to keep quiet and not hand over a thing to federal agents. But everything changed in November 2024 when prosecutors showed their cards, and it was game over. They reportedly presented Doria with proof that she herself could be charged with multiple felonies, including money laundering, conspiracy to commit fraud, running an unlicensed money transfer business, and structuring transactions to dodge federal reporting rules. Each of those counts could mean up to 20 years in prison, and that's when Doria decided to cooperate, trading silence for survival. When Doria Ragland was confronted with hard evidence that could lock her away for life, the pressure was unbearable. Prosecutors had tied her directly to Meghan's alleged criminal empire, and suddenly, Doria had no way out except one: a deal. Her lawyers scrambled to negotiate a sweeping immunity agreement, one that would shield her from prosecution only if she gave full, honest cooperation and detailed every step of the money laundering scheme she helped run. But sources close to the negotiations say her decision to turn against Meghan didn't happen overnight. At first, Doria reportedly tried to protect her daughter, claiming she had no clue the money was dirty. She insisted she thought she was doing legitimate consulting work for RICO Foundation projects, community programs, charity planning, outreach work, all things that sounded completely above board. Then came the game-changing evidence. Prosecutors reportedly dropped a mountain of proof, recorded phone calls, text threads, and email exchanges that allegedly showed Doria knew exactly what was going on. The messages even revealed that Meghan had supposedly instructed her on how to move funds and disguise transactions to dodge federal oversight. That's when reality hit Doria like a freight train. Protecting her daughter meant destroying herself. Federal court filings and witness transcripts later confirmed that Doria's grand jury testimony opened up the entire blueprint of Meghan's alleged operation. She described how the system was built, a web of fake business fronts, disguised transfers, and carefully planned laundering tactics, all designed to make stolen charity money look like it came from legitimate ventures. It was the kind of detailed confession that prosecutors could only dream of. According to Doria's sworn testimony, it all began around March 2021, when Meghan allegedly came to her with a business proposal that sounded too good to be true. Meghan reportedly told her mother she could earn steady income by helping manage financial arrangements while keeping the family's business dealings private. But behind the polished talk was a far darker setup, one that would allegedly pull Doria straight into a secret money-moving operation. Meghan reportedly created a network of fake consulting deals between Doria and several shell companies under her control. Names like Community Development Solutions LLC, Global Outreach Consulting Inc., and Humanitarian Services Group. On paper, these companies appeared to be humanitarian ventures, paying Doria anywhere between $15,000 a month for community engagement and charity consulting. But Doria later admitted under oath that she never did any of that work. She told investigators she never attended a single charity meeting, never wrote a report, and never organized a project. Nothing. Instead, Meghan allegedly instructed her to sign fake invoices and timesheets to make it look like she was working. These documents were part of an elaborate paper trail designed to trick auditors and investigators into believing the payments were legitimate business expenses. In reality, those fake consulting contracts were a cover-up, a system that let Meghan funnel massive amounts of allegedly stolen charity money straight to her mother, hiding the cash as salary payments. Each signed document was another brick in the wall of deception, making dirty money appear squeaky clean. Doria Ragland's testimony blew the lid off the next phase of the alleged operation, the shell company network. She told investigators that Meghan had set up 7 fake companies that existed for one purpose only, to move money around and bury the truth about where it came from. These paper-only companies didn't sell anything, didn't run any programs. They were just tools to shuffle cash between accounts until it looked clean enough to spend without raising red flags. Doria admitted she was made the official owner of 3 of these shell corporations, even though Meghan was the one actually running the show. By using her mother's name, Meghan allegedly made sure her own wasn't tied to the transactions, protecting herself from scrutiny if investigators started digging. According to Doria's sworn statement, these fake businesses received direct payments from the RICO Foundation's accounts. They would hold the money just long enough to confuse the timeline and then send it out again. Sometimes the cash was wired to new accounts, other times it was used straight away for expensive purchases like high-end fashion, real estate upgrades, or luxury travel, all while keeping records that made the spending look completely legitimate. But the most shocking part of Doria's testimony came when she revealed that Meghan herself allegedly trained her on how to handle the money. She reportedly gave precise instructions on how to structure transfers, always keeping them under $10,000 to dodge federal reporting systems, spreading funds across multiple banks to stay off the radar, and creating fake documents to back up every suspicious move. Let that sink in. Meghan's own mother testified under oath that her daughter personally taught her the tactics of money laundering, including how to hide stolen charity funds and forge the paperwork to make it all appear clean. Doria Ragland's testimony took an even darker turn when she revealed that Meghan allegedly built a web of offshore banking connections stretching across the Cayman Islands, the British Virgin Islands, and Luxembourg. These accounts, according to her statement, were set up to quietly move laundered funds far beyond U.S. borders into countries protected by strict bank secrecy laws, making it almost impossible for federal investigators to follow the trail. Doria said she was personally sent overseas to handle some of these transactions herself. She testified that Meghan instructed her to travel to the Cayman Islands twice, once in July 2022 and again in October 2023, to deposit large sums of cash and open new accounts that could receive transfers from the shell companies. The plan was to keep everything off the digital radar. Fewer electronic records meant fewer ways for U.S. law enforcement to connect the dots. According to the testimony, these offshore accounts processed more than $2.1 million in allegedly stolen charity funds between 2021 and 2024, The money was then reportedly used to bankroll a lavish lifestyle, including a $340,000 Rolls-Royce, a $180,000 jewelry collection, and over $520,000 spent on fine art shipped straight from international dealers to skip U.S. customs tracking. Doria told prosecutors that Meghan made one thing crystal clear: these offshore accounts were meant to stay completely secret. Meghan allegedly warned her mother never to mention the accounts to anyone. No lawyers, no bankers, no friends, only to discuss them with Meghan herself. Category 4 Fee structure and personal profit from money laundering services. According to Doria Ragland's sworn grand jury testimony, her involvement in Meghan's alleged money laundering operation wasn't just out of family loyalty, it was profitable. Doria revealed that Meghan paid her a 15% commission on every dollar she helped move through the web of shell companies and offshore accounts. Between 2021 and 2024, that cut added up to more than $500,000 in personal profit, money that came straight from stolen charity funds. Doria admitted she used her share of the cash for luxury living, high-end travel, a new home, fine jewelry, and private health care, all while knowing that every penny came from donations meant to support humanitarian causes. She told investigators that she was aware her income came from money that rightfully belonged to charitable donors who believed they were funding real outreach work, not filling private bank accounts. This secret commission system created what prosecutors describe as a built-in motive to keep the fraud growing. The more money Meghan allegedly moved, the more Doria earned, turning what began as family help into a business of deception. Over time, that incentive reportedly pushed the operation into more complex schemes, involving bigger transfers, more fake documentation, and even tighter concealment tactics to stay ahead of investigators. As Meghan's alleged charity fraud expanded, so did the risks and the greed. Their partnership spiraled from quiet cooperation into full-scale conspiracy, with both mother and daughter deeply entangled in an ever-growing financial web. Now, let's trace how it all unfolded, the step-by-step timeline of this shocking mother-daughter money laundering scheme, a progression of crimes that destroyed their bond and ultimately forced Doria to choose immunity over loyalty. March 2021. Meghan first approaches Doria about joining her in financial management, promising big payouts while keeping their business operations under wraps. March 2021. The beginning. Doria agrees to join Meghan's financial setup, not fully realizing how deep the scheme runs. At first, it's presented as a harmless consulting arrangement, but beneath the surface, it's already being used to hide stolen charity funds. June 2021. The money starts flowing. The first large payments begin moving from the RICO Foundation through shell companies directly into Doria's personal accounts. The deposits start around $15,000 per month, but as Meghan's confidence grows, the amounts steadily climb. Each payment looks clean on paper, but every transfer ties them tighter to the operation. September 2021. The rules of the game. Meghan allegedly sends her mother explicit instructions on how to handle transactions. Doria is told to keep transfers under federal reporting limits, split the money across accounts, and create fake documentation to make every move look legitimate if anyone ever asks questions. December 2021. The offshore leap. Meghan expands the game internationally. Doria travels to the Cayman Islands to personally open offshore accounts and build a pathway for international money transfers. These accounts become key to moving larger sums without triggering U.S. oversight. March 2022, peak operation, the laundering network hits full throttle. Multiple shell companies are now processing transactions simultaneously, all while generating spotless-looking fake records designed to survive even the toughest audit. The operation is sleek, sophisticated, and dangerous. July 2022, the big payday. Doria's salary skyrockets to $47,000 a month as the fraud money pours in faster than ever. With new laundering tactics in play, they can move bigger amounts while staying hidden from detection. October 2023, expanding the offshore web. As federal pressure starts to build in the U.S., Doria makes another secret trip, this time to open more offshore accounts and boost the network's international capacity. The walls are closing in, but the operation keeps moving. January 2024, the storm hits. News of a federal charity fraud investigation breaks publicly. Meghan scrambles to tighten security, limit transfers, and destroy potential evidence, but by then, the damage is already done, and investigators are watching every move. September 2024, the discovery. It all starts to crumble. Federal forensic accountants uncover Doria Ragland's hidden role in the operation after tracing suspicious financial patterns tied to the RICO Foundation. That breakthrough leads to immediate subpoenas, and prosecutors begin pressing Doria to cooperate, hinting that immunity might be on the table if she talks. November 2024, the turning point. Federal prosecutors hit Doria with hard evidence proving her own criminal exposure, detailed bank records, shell company transactions, and offshore transfers, all tying her directly to the laundering scheme. Cornered and facing decades in prison, Doria agrees to an immunity deal in exchange for full cooperation and testimony against her daughter. The betrayal that no one ever imagined becomes reality. February 8, 2025. The confession. Doria steps into a federal courtroom and delivers 6 hours of explosive grand jury testimony. She lays out the entire operation, every company, every fake contract, every hidden account, and even describes how Meghan allegedly gave direct instructions on how to move the money and cover the tracks. It's a confession that shakes the case wide open. This timeline paints a chilling picture, a calculated 4-year criminal conspiracy between mother and daughter that spiraled completely out of control. When faced with life behind bars, Doria chose survival over silence, self-preservation over loyalty. But this isn't just family drama, it's federal crime on a massive scale. Legal experts point out that under RICO laws, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, running a coordinated money laundering network involving multiple people to hide charity fraud profits qualifies as organized crime. That means prosecutors could pursue enhanced penalties, even life imprisonment, for anyone proven to have managed or directed the scheme. Doria's testimony reportedly gives prosecutors everything they need: proof of structure, ongoing operations, and a pattern of racketeering that crossed state and international borders through banks, wire transfers, and secret money channels. We reached out to 3 top federal criminal law experts to break down the impact of Doria Ragland's shocking testimony and what it means for potential RICO charges against Meghan Markle, and their insights are explosive. Former federal prosecutor Michael Roberts didn't hold back. He said Doria's testimony gives investigators the organizational proof needed to charge Meghan under federal racketeering laws. He explained that family testimony hits harder than almost any other evidence, because juries know mothers don't turn on their daughters unless the evidence is absolutely devastating. Criminal defense attorney Sarah Thompson agreed, saying that Doria's immunity deal completely shatters Meghan's ability to claim she acted alone. The agreement forces Doria to share everything from private conversations to insider details about how the operation worked, leaving prosecutors with direct evidence of criminal intent. This is the kind of testimony that buries a defense, Thompson said bluntly. Federal sentencing expert David Chen added another layer of weight to the situation, explaining that RICO convictions tied to large-scale money laundering almost always bring heavy sentences, typically between 15 and 25 years, but in some cases life imprisonment if the defendant is proven to have managed or directed the criminal network. Behind the scenes, things have gone from bad to catastrophic. Doria's cooperation has sparked a total family implosion. Years of secrets and greed have turned into a full-blown war between mother and daughter. Sources close to the case say Doria's deal requires ongoing cooperation, meaning she must testify in multiple proceedings, assist with asset recovery to reclaim stolen money, and remain available as new evidence surfaces. Even more heartbreaking, Meghan reportedly found out about her mother's cooperation through her defense attorneys, not from Doria herself. That discovery left her furious and blindsided. Insiders say Meghan's first reaction was pure rage and disbelief that her own mother would destroy her own daughter just to save herself. The bond that once tied them has now completely shattered, loyalty replaced by survival. Legal analysts are pointing out that Doria Ragland's decision to cooperate wasn't driven by betrayal, it was pure survival. When you're staring down the possibility of life behind bars, self-preservation becomes the only option. Her deal with prosecutors didn't just mean testifying, it also forced her to help recover the very assets she once helped hide. That includes turning over property, jewelry, vehicles, and other luxury items bought with laundered money. It's a total financial collapse for the family, the fallout of years of alleged criminal activity now coming home to roost. So what happens next? Experts say there are 2 possible legal paths that could determine Meghan's fate, and neither one looks good. Scenario 1. Full RICO prosecution with enhanced penalties. In this worst-case scenario, federal prosecutors use Doria's sworn testimony as the backbone of a RICO case, proving that Meghan ran a coordinated criminal enterprise with multiple accomplices, systematically laundering stolen charity money. Under federal law, that's organized crime. Convictions like this usually lead to 15 to 25 years in prison, and in extreme cases even life imprisonment for the masterminds who manage or direct the operation. If that happens, the consequences would be devastating. Every dollar, property, or asset tied to the fraud would be seized as criminal proceeds. Meghan could lose everything: homes, cars, jewelry, even the funds she might need to defend herself or rebuild after prison. It's total legal and financial ruin. Scenario 2. Comprehensive plea deal to avoid RICO charges. In this more strategic route, Meghan's defense team might push for a plea bargain to avoid the crushing weight of a full RICO trial. Facing her mother's damaging testimony, She could agree to plead guilty to several major felonies, cooperate with prosecutors, and accept a reduced sentence, possibly 8 to 12 years in federal prison. In return, she'd avoid a life sentence and preserve a fraction of her assets. Either way, Doria's cooperation has cornered Meghan, leaving her only two choices: fight a losing battle in court or cut a deal before it's too late. If Meghan refuses to take a plea deal and insists on fighting the charges, the case would explode into one of the most shocking trials in modern memory. Federal prosecutors would call Doria Ragland to the stand, forcing a mother to testify against her own daughter in open court. Her testimony would include detailed accounts of how the operation worked, what conversations took place, and how money was allegedly moved, all while exposing the dark side of a family once seen as picture perfect. Legal experts warn that this scenario would draw massive global media attention. The courtroom would become a public stage for betrayal, greed, and corruption, and it would likely destroy whatever public sympathy Meghan has left. With Doria's insider knowledge and direct participation, prosecutors would hold near airtight evidence. A guilty verdict would be almost guaranteed, making this path the most humiliating and damaging option of all. Scenario 4. Witness intimidation or obstruction. In a far riskier move, Meghan could try to interfere with her mother's cooperation, whether through family pressure, emotional manipulation, or financial persuasion, hoping to get Doria to soften or change her testimony. There's even speculation that legal threats or behind-the-scenes influence could be attempted to derail her mother's cooperation with federal agents, but this route would be a disaster. Any effort to silence, bribe, or intimidate a cooperating witness is itself a serious federal crime, specifically obstruction of justice and witness tampering, both of which carry heavy penalties. If investigators discovered even a hint of interference, Meghan could face additional charges, further sealing her fate. In short, Meghan's options are running out fast. She can take responsibility, face her mother in court, or risk making things far worse by trying to fight a battle she's already losing. Those extra crimes, obstruction, intimidation, and witness tampering carry heavy additional penalties. And worse, they'd prove to prosecutors that Meghan was fully aware of her guilt and desperate enough to commit new crimes just to dodge accountability. But stepping back, this story isn't just about courtrooms and indictments, it's about something much deeper and darker. What's unfolding here is the total moral collapse of a family once admired by the world. This isn't only about money or fame, it's about how greed, deception, and corruption can grow so out of control that they destroy the strongest human bond of all, the love between a mother and her daughter. When Doria Ragland chose cooperation, it wasn't an act of cruelty, it was survival. Faced with the threat of losing her freedom forever, she made the impossible choice. And that choice revealed just how far Meghan's alleged operation had gone in poisoning everything around her. What started as ambition turned into manipulation, pulling even her closest family into a web of crime they couldn't escape. Now the mother-daughter relationship is beyond repair. Doria's federal immunity deal means she is now legally obligated to keep cooperating against Meghan, testifying, turning over assets, and helping prosecutors recover what they say was stolen from charitable donors. This cooperation won't end anytime soon. It will stretch across multiple phases: criminal prosecution, asset forfeiture, and even civil lawsuits from defrauded victims demanding justice. This entire saga serves as a brutal warning. Mixing family and crime never ends well. Federal investigators know that nothing breaks a case open faster than family cooperation, especially when defendants believe blood ties will protect them. And when that loyalty finally collapses under the weight of the truth, the emotional fallout becomes the most devastating consequence of all. When federal immunity enters the picture, everything changes. Family loyalty, no matter how deep, can't compete with the reality of facing decades behind bars. When prosecutors offer a deal that guarantees freedom in exchange for truth, even blood ties can break under the pressure. So here's where everything stands tonight, and it's shocking. Doria Ragland has now given 6 full hours of sworn testimony to federal prosecutors, detailing her direct role in an alleged $8 million money laundering network designed to hide what investigators call Meghan Markle's charity fraud proceeds. Her confession maps out every step of the operation, from fake consulting contracts and shell companies to offshore accounts and carefully structured transactions, all reportedly organized and directed by Meghan herself over nearly 4 years. Prosecutors now hold what they've been waiting for: a co-conspirator's first-hand account of how the entire operation worked. Doria's sworn statements reportedly outline Meghan's direct instructions, management strategies, and the laundering methods used to disguise stolen charity donations as legitimate business funds. Legal experts believe this level of insider testimony could be the final piece needed to pursue RICO charges that could carry life imprisonment. But beyond the courtroom, the human cost is devastating. The once close bond between Meghan and her mother has been completely shattered. Doria chose federal protection over family loyalty because the evidence against her was simply too heavy to ignore. It's a decision that saved her from life in prison but left her relationship with Meghan in ruins. Now Meghan stands at a crossroads, facing a potential RICO prosecution, possible public trial, total asset seizure, and the humiliation of hearing her own mother testify against her under oath. Every part of her empire, financial, personal, and emotional, is collapsing in real time. And now the question falls to you. What do you think of Doria's decision? Type justified if you believe she was right to protect herself and cooperate with the law. Type betrayal if you think no mother should ever testify against her child, no matter the crime. Or type consequences if you believe both women must face the fallout of their own choices. If you believe that crime doesn't just ruin victims but tears families apart too, then you know how deep this story cuts. When corruption spreads within a family, no amount of loyalty can protect anyone from justice. Federal immunity exists for one reason: to help prosecutors expose the truth, even if it means turning family against family. Because when it comes to money laundering and organized crime, no relationship is above the law. RICO prosecution isn't just about punishment, it's about accountability. And in this case, it's clear that justice must be served, no matter how royal or famous the names involved may be. Doria's testimony isn't just cooperation, it's the final blow to Meghan's defense and the undeniable proof of how greed and deception completely consumed their lives. When your own mother chooses prosecutors over protection, that's not just betrayal, that's the ultimate sign that the crimes were too severe to hide. The truth is out, the operation is exposed, and the family bond that once seemed unbreakable is now destroyed forever. The money trail has ended, the empire has crumbled, and the RICO hammer is about to fall. If you believe justice must prevail, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next explosive update as this royal courtroom drama unfolds. Drop a comment below and share your take. Do you think Doria did the right thing, or was this the ultimate betrayal?